how we are doing, guys? I know we're doing amazing. All right, how is preparations for your OSCE exam? How are you getting on? I trust God that every one of you are going to pass your OSCE exam, so try to practice with your peers, practice with your friends, and make sure your marking criteria is your Bible. All right, congrats to a lot of people who have passed their OSCE exam. I got like 12 messages yesterday. I'm excited for you, so send us special thanks. Okay, anyway, in today's video we are going to be talking about restrain. Yes, and restrain is one of the newly added scenarios to the evidence base. We have talked about a lot of series of evidence base. We've talked about pressure ulcer, we've talked about use of honey dressing, we've talked about female myocardial infarction, we've talked about diabetes. Go check it out on my channel. But in today's video we are talking about restraint, which is one of the newly added scenario to evidence base. But before we dive into the video, I just want to make an important announcement. I have added the join button to this channel, so if you click on that join button, you're expected to pay £2.99 every month. So if you fancy it, then that's absolutely fine. It's entirely up to you. So but the benefit is, if you are a channel member, if you ask me any question, even though I'm busy, I really have to answer you, because it means you are a step ahead of others. You take this channel in a very high esteem, and I've tried to send a couple of pressure ulcer Braden scale questions for the channel members in their community so they can answer and send their answers back to me. So it's entirely up to you. If you fancy it, click on the join button and you can cancel anytime of your choice. So without wasting further time, let's dive directly into today's video.
Ryan Little.
Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone. Okay, in today's video we are going to be talking about restrain, one of the newly added scenarios to the evidence base. Now we all know evidence base is a silent writing station, and the time allocated to this is 10 complete minutes. So guys, you get a scenario, and you get an article summary, and then you now answer the question. So I'll be sharing the document with which we answer the question, and I'll be reading out the scenario. I will not share the scenario on the screen, so just try to listen attentively and probably pause it if you have to. So now listen to the scenario. So now this is the scenario. The first thing you will see is evidence-based practice, restrain, overview. Read the scenario and the summary of the research below. Please identify the main points from the summary and apply findings to the scenario below. This is a silent station. Please write clearly and legibly. You have 10 minutes to complete the station. So this is the overview for our question. Now, the next thing you will see is your scenario. So literally, that document you will have will carry the overview, the scenario, and the article summary. So I've read the overview. Now I'm reading the scenario. Mrs. Ellie is a 68-year-old lady who is very aggressive and always harming herself by hitting her head on the wall and hitting her head on the bed. She has a lot of self-inflicted wounds all over her body. You are the nurse in charge of the ward on that day. Some nurses came to you and we are thinking of refraining Mrs. Ellie just to avoid her from inflicting more injuries on herself. While some other nurses are of the opinion that she should be communicated to in a compassionate manner. I'll take the scenario again. Mrs. Ellie is an 68-year-old lady who is very aggressive and always harming herself by hitting her head on the wall and on her bed. She has inflicted a lot of injuries on herself and all over her body. You are the nurse in charge of the ward. Some nurses came to you and are thinking of restraining her to avoid her from inflicting more wounds on herself. Why some other nurses are of the opinion that she should be communicated to in a compassionate manner. Now, that is our scenario. Now, our article summary. Study A shows that compassionate communication may prevent the need to restrain patients. I repeat, study A shows that compassionate communication may prevent the need to restrain patients. However, this might not be effective at all times. Study B. Physical restraint might be necessary if it is the last resort. Study B. Physical restraint might be necessary if it is the last resort. Study C. Studies shows that physical restraint may promote fear in patients. Study D. Studies shows that physical restraint might cause distress among staff. So now this is our article summary. So now you are expected to fill your answers in bullet points. Now look at your screen. I'm sharing where to write your answers. So you are expected to write your answers in bullet points. So if you look at your screen, I am sharing where you should write your answers. So you are expected to write your answers in bullet points. So now guys, what is our answers to this scenario? Now, from guys, you've listened to the overview I put forward, you've listened to the scenario I've put forward, you've listened to the article summary I've put forward. So as the charge nurse in charge of the sheet, what will be your responses now? So remember, this is the sheet I'm sharing where you're supposed to be putting your answer on your exam day. That's the sheet you're going to be having on your exam day. So you have to give your answers. All right, so now make sure you're giving them in bullet points. So the first answer I would love to give, I would explain to the nurses that compassionate communication may prevent the need to restrain patients. I would inform them that compassionate communication may prevent the need to restrain patients. Tick. Number 2, I would also inform them that physical restraint might be necessary to promote the safety of staff and patients as a last resort after other options have been exhausted. I would inform them that physical restraint may be necessary to promote the safety of staff and patients as a last resort after all other options have been exhausted. I would inform them that they should consider physical restraint as a measure to promote patient stay safety and staff safely only when every other options have been exhausted. Tick. Number 3, remember you are writing it in hyphen. You will not write number 1 and number 2. You are writing it in bullet points. Another bullet point, I would inform them that physical restraint might promote fear in patients and distress among staff. I would inform them that physical restraint might promote fear in patients and distress among staffs. Tick. And another bullet point, I would consider that physical restraint might be perceived as a demonstration of power that staff displays over patience. I would inform them that physical restraint might be perceived as a demonstration of power that staff displays over patients. I would inform them that physical restraint might be considered or might be perceived as a demonstration of power that staff displays over patients. And finally, I would explain that the use of physical restraint may create a loss of trust and breakdown in patients and staff relationship. I would inform them that the use of physical restraint may create a loss of trust and a breakdown in patients and staff relationship. So guys, I know you enjoyed watching this video. Give this video a like and a thumb up, and don't forget to share with your other friends who are preparing for OSCE exam, because it's definitely going to help them. I will see you in another of my series on the newly added scenarios on evidence-based and professional values. Until I see you again, keep passing your OSCE exams. I love you all. Bye for now.